Okay. So I went out on the streets a couple of weeks ago and I interviewed a bunch of people and I asked them to be honest with me about their worst or most awkward date ever. And let me tell you, I've got some bad date stories, but these people right here, man, they take the cake. I ain't got nothing on this. You just gotta see it for yourself.
I walked into a bar that I go to a lot and I knew the bartender. There was nobody sitting inside. I go outside. I know all three people sitting outside, so I sit with them. And a guy walks in, and I literally don't recognize him, and I know every single human being in the building, and he looked that different from his photos that I was like, no, there's no way this could be my date, until he sat down and said hello.
I believe I was actually the worst date because basically I was so happy to talk to this girl. She was really sweet, and we met up, but I was an open book, so I didn't leave any mystery. And you know the 80-20 rule where you're supposed to listen 80% of the time and just speak 20%. I did the reverse. Yeah, just not mysterious enough, unfortunately.
Man, I went pick this girl up for a date, banging bodies from social media and everything. She get in the car, I look at her in person, look like a werewolf hopped in the car, man. Catfish. Was mad. I still took her on a date though. I didn't want to be rude.
He swore that he could like hang, that he wanted to go clubbing and he wanted to drink and stuff, and like 3 or 4 shots in he was like throwing up and passing out. What? Yeah, he threw up a couple times and he ended up passing out at the club, like falling asleep, and I'm just like, okay.
Where? At the club?
Yeah, it was like Clay Houston. I'm sure somebody out there remembers.
What was your worst or most awkward date ever?
Besides you, I'm kidding. My worst date, he brought 3 of his friends to dinner the first time we were meeting, and it was so awkward.
Wasn't me. I'm not he, by the way.
I got catfish before too. I had the number ball. Ball was falling in love with it, right? I ain't never seen him. My brother. I ain't never seen him, right? Guess how I found out? You know how back in the day the number matches up to the Instagram profile, right?
Yeah.
So the number went to the Instagram profile, and I seen some old big old gun, man. I said I screenshot it. I sent it to her. Who this?
Could you tell me about your worst date ever?
Yes, it was actually with my husband. I met him at his restaurant. And I sat on the patio, and he would sit with me for about 5 minutes and then go back in for about 10 minutes, come back out. Same thing happened for about 30 minutes straight. He finally came out and asked me, hey, do you mind sitting inside with me? I actually accidentally double booked our lunch. So already an awkward, meeting because it's our first date, but then I had to sit in with another woman. Wow. So it was just crazy awkward, and I just about did not go out with him again, but he made up for it after we went to dinner, and it was a lot better.
Okay, so you gave him a second chance.
I gave him a second chance.
Okay, so worst date or most awkward date?
Give me both.
Okay, most awkward date is second date, everything was going great. 45 minutes later, a girl walks in, and he's like, oh shoot, that's my daughter's mother. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, so this is what you doing? And I was like, sitting there, like, the girl comes back in and was like, oh, well, he lives with his mother, so we're about to go to his house to pick up our stuff. And I was like, thank you, peace out.
He asked me, he was like, oh, so what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a behavioral therapist. I work with children with autism and developmental delays. And he was like, oh, the retarded motherfuckers? I said, what? I said, sir, you can't say that. And he was like, I mean, I know what autism is. And I was like, okay, but you can't call them retarded motherfuckers. Like, that's not right. And he was just like, I mean, so what you trying to say? Like, I'm an educated black man that knows what I'm politically correct. Then I was like, sir, I just said you can't say that, okay? Because that's not right, okay? And he just was like, he started spazzing, dude spazzed. And I was like, so all these restroom breaks, are you sure, were you doing like a bump of cocaine while you went to the bathroom? Because it was like, it went from 0 to like 100 like really quick. The conversation, it didn't last long because I was like, oh, but we can end this now. He was like, all right, then we can go. And I was like, you can go, and I'm gonna leave a little bit after you leave so you don't try to kill me when I get to my car.
It was with this girl that I used to talk to a long time ago in high school, but she was just still caught up on her ex for like 6 years. So that's all she talked about.
Just waiting for like, I guess 40 minutes, and then another girl show up that was nothing looked like the picture that I saw.
We crashed a high school prom when we were dating and we were in our 20s. They asked us to be on like the news part of it, so we gave like an interview like we were students.
The high school news.
Yeah, and I guess it played like at the high school at some point. We also saw, we saw someone we knew at the prom too, and that was pretty awkward. So we got in the door because I had students from a church that I worked at take us to prom.
They were seniors.
They were seniors, and they were dating, and they ended up.
They won prom king and queen.
Yeah.
So technically, I was dating the prom queen.
Yeah, and I went to the prom with the prom king, and when they won, we were yelling out like, "That's my date!" And all the students that were looking at us like, "Who are these weirdos?"
And that's when we were found out, and we probably should have left.
No. Then we got to eat free food.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, with the
As
prom
one does
king and
at
queen.
prom. Yeah, it was a win.
It was.
It was awkward, but it was a win.
He stole a bottle from the table next to us and started drinking that person's bottle. He drank half of the bottle and got super drunk. He just passes out on the table. And when he passed out on the table, the person was like, "So yeah, here's the check." So I was like, "Hey, you need to pay." And so he grabs his wallet and was like, "Here." So I took like $150 out, gave it to the guy and was like, "This is for your pain and suffering." So we were leaving and he's so drunk, he's like, "Hey, I'm so drunk, I can't drive. And then the dude was like, "So the reason why you can't take me home is because I live with my fiance and our daughter." Then I randomly seen him. He was like, "Hey, I think my bill was like way more than what I paid. Do you have the extra money?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, do I know you?"
The most awkward date I went on was I was going to the movies with this girl, and the whole time she was saying that she wanted to play with my belly button. And I said no, because that's weird, but it turns out she was trying to give me a hand job, and I didn't know. So, there it is.